Live from New York, I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick with Do You Remember? And today we are counting down the top 10 SNL skits from the 1980s.
It's 10:30, it's time to party. I'm your excellent host, Wayne Campbell.
As the not ready for primetime players took their final bow, we said farewell to some powerhouses. Garrett Morris, Gilda Radner, Bill Murray, all departing after they owned Saturday evenings in the 70s. Big shoes to fill, no doubt, but lucky for them, they had some unpolished talent walking through those 30 Rock doors. Mike Myers, Phil Hartman, and the electric Eddie Murphy. And although it seemed like the land shark had gone into hibernation, Eddie's Buckwheat and Martin Short's Ed Grimley were here to stay, cracking up audiences throughout the Reagan decade.
You better be paying attention, because we're not working for nothing up here.
If you enjoy our SNL Best of the 80s sketches and characters, please give this video a thumbs up to show support. And make sure you're subscribed to our channel for more nostalgia. But without further ado, let's laugh. Number 10, Gumby. Kicking off this list is Eddie Murphy, otherwise known as the best 80s cast member ever. And to think he was just 19 years old when he joined, incredible. And yes, he will frequent this list, but his cynical green Gumby is just the place to start.
Look, I swore I would never work with that lame plug nag again.
So memorable that when Eddie hosted SNL in 2019, of course Gumby made an appearance.
What the hell do you mean I'm not a Christmas character? Look at me! I'm green!
The slightly darker green Gumby, oftentimes with a hat pinned to his green, was always mean, blunt, and a crowd favorite, definitely deserving to be on this list. Number 9, Master Thespian. John Lovitz had to crack this list as he was a standout from 1985 until 1990, even earning 2 Emmy nominations. But even more memorable than his lovable jerk Tommy Flanagan is this egomaniacal thespian who coined a catchphrase that lasted longer than any SNL tenure.
Brilliant acting! Genius! Thank you!
Whether he was perfectly matched up with the theatrical Kevin Kline or not, this Shakespearean nut was way over the top. Or maybe not even. For all you theater kids out there, these people do exist. I think my all-time favorite Master Thespian sketch is when he was serving as Santa Claus at Macy's. And he and the Macy's manager, wonderfully played by Phil Hartman, had just the best back and forth.
He likes children?
Yes!
Oh, now you tell me. And you call yourself a director?
I am checking this list twice, and certainly glad Master Thespian is on it. Number 8, Church Chat. In 1986, we met the church lady.
Well, praise Jesus!
But strictly speaking, she was so hilarious they brought her back in 1996 and 3 times in the 2000s. No matter who the celebrity was that the church lady was skewering/interviewing. Outrageously funny comedian Dana Carvey showed why people needed to give SNL a chance in the 80s. Because sinning had never been funnier, and audiences loved watching a pretty relatable scene play out. You know, being called out for our undeniable sins by a church lady.
Dear church lady, I sometimes think you don't want to listen to anyone's opinion but your own.
I'm serious. Even Dana Carvey admitted that the inspiration for this character came straight from strict old ladies from church. Relatable, check. Hysterical, check. Number 7, Sprockets. Alrighty, from Dana to his pal Mike Myers on a different talk show. This time a fictional West German one named Sprockets. Presented by German expressionist Dieter. A lot of similarities actually. Again interviewing celebrities, but not trying to shame them for their sins. Just silly German accents pivoting the conversation to his pretty special monkey named Klaus.
And like the blood and gorge gazelles at the Garmisch-Partenkirchen Zoo. I'm ready to rot.
Dancing was frequently part of these sketches, and he even took his Dieter to Germany's Most Disturbing Home Videos for a spin-off sketch. And although this character primarily plays off German stereotypes, Mike Myers was uptight, generally sounded uninterested, but man was he so funny, ending his sentences with a duck-faced pursed lips. Dieter was totally extra, and I was all for it. Number 6, James Brown's Celebrity Hot Tub Party. Impersonating one of the biggest personalities in music history, this was just what the doctor ordered. This hot tub party aired on November 5th, 1983, and Eddie strutted his stuff in his purple sequins robe and gold bikini briefs before counting down his backing band in a nearly unintelligible way.
Yeah! Willie made me sweat! Yeah! Standing in the hot tub! Yeah! Willie made me wet! Yeah!
Although the hot tub party was just a one-off, Eddie's James Brown impersonation did make a few appearances, but Hot Tub Man #1 will always be the best performance for me.
Don't go away, we'll be right back with more Celebrity Hot Tub!
Number 5, Wayne's World. Oh boy, this was a given for this list. It is easily one of the most recognizable sketches of the 1980s, with two of the most quotable characters in SNL history.
Party on, Wayne! Party on, girl! Woo, woo!
Even without the two well-made theatrical films, these sketches deserved a standing ovation, or better yet, a kneel and a worship. And honestly, I would have put Wayne's World higher on this list. But since the first one aired on February 18th, 1989, the majority of these sketches feel more like 1990s. But since Mike Myers' Wayne Campbell was originally brought to life on his Canadian show It's Only Rock and Roll, I do think it belongs on this list too.
I mean, if you just go for it, you know what I mean? This is Wayne's Power Minute. All right!
And Mike Myers was paired with Dana Carvey, which all resulted in the best public access TV show hosted from their parents' basement ever. The only direction that Dana Carvey received before going on was from Mike Myers when he said, "Garth loves Wayne." Yep, he does love Wayne, but he probably loves Babes even more. Number 4, Ed Grimley. Martin Short's Ed Grimley was first seen on the popular sketch show SCTV, but that does not take away from the hysterical appearances Ed made on SNL. This ADD-ridden man-child with a gelled cone of a haircut had enough energy for the Big Apple's best late-night sketch show too. And he shone bright, whether he was rocking the triangle solos or auditioning to get on the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, spin, 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 wheel, spin! What if I freeze?
The guy was so peculiar, and I could watch him freak out and dance any day, hopefully with a triangle in hand. Number 3, Buckwheat Sings. Okay, any Buckwheat sketch would do, but man oh man, is this our gang favorite as an adult, a charming sketch to watch. He debuted on October 10th, 1981, and Eddie is vibrant with a childish enthusiasm that has you rooting for him, even if you can't really understand him as Buckwheat. The subtitles were a cherry on top, and Buckwheat Sings certainly deserves a top 3 finish. Another appearance is Buckwheat Buys the Farm in 1983, and it is way ahead of its time. You have Ted Koppel announcing on the news that Buckwheat was shot leaving 30 Rock.
Nancy and I feel that we have lost a close and dear friend.
And look closely in the reenactment, and you'll see a sunglassed Arsenio Hall moving to cover his client as Buckwheat's bodyguard. Rest in peace, Buckwheat. Number 2, Pumping Up with Hans and Franz.
I am Hans.
And I am Franz, and we just want to pump you up.
Yes, we waited till number 2 to bring you two of the toughest, meatiest, buffest bodybuilders. These two are definitely not flappy, pathetic losers like those viewers at home, rejecting these two Greek gods' instructions, as Hans and Franz were wonderfully played by Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon. And I'm glad Kevin got on this list, cause he had a great stint on SNL. The tough duo is of course modeled after Schwarzenegger.
Come on, we have to learn here about how to exercise.
The duo did more talk than pump, which was all part of the joke, as they seemingly always struggled with reading the teleprompter and made us all fans of the obnoxious gym rat, you know, who can't stop giving you advice to pump you up. Number 1, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Finally, we come to Eddie Murphy at his best in a fairly Murphy-stacked list. But his Mr. Rogers parody was so good because it was on the same wavelength as that infamous children's show host. This time living in a much grittier environment. It's kind of like the upside down of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yes, that is a Stranger Things reference for those who don't know. The evil underside of the real world. Mr. Robinson's lessons are all about avoiding the rent-obsessed landlord or the police, and usually ends with Mr. Robinson shimmying out of his fire escape to avoid some pressing matter. This sketch was another that Eddie and Lorne decided to revamp for his 2019 hosting appearance. And once again, it was our pleasure to walk into Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Squatters' rights. It's like finders keepers, but for other people's houses.
So what did Fred Rogers think about this playful twist? Well, he loved it, of course. And when Fred was appearing on David Letterman one night, which shoots in the same building, Fred Rogers visited Eddie and knocked on his dressing room door. Eddie opened it, was stunned for a moment before beaming and saying, quote, "The real Mr. Rogers." Then he gave the legendary personality a big hug. A perfect end to a perfect sketch. Alright, it's getting close to Sunday morning now, and I think we should take our final bows too. So which of our top 10 sketches was your favorite? Which 1980s sketch or character did we forget? Was there a cast member from this era that truly stood out? Maybe one that I didn't even mention at all? Please get in the comments and tell us all about it. And if you haven't seen our 1970s best sketches or cast then and now, definitely check them out, as SNL does not get better than the 70s and 80s. So if you enjoyed our rewind, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more throwbacks like this. But from all of us here at Do You Remember, we want to thank you for watching.